How's that? That better? Is that better now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Bueller? Bueller? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me now. Well, this is a very quiet chat. Can anyone? Yo, was anybody out there? Now I got to see if I can hear myself. Hello? Can anyone? Yes, now you can hear me. All right, thumbs up. Here we go. Here we go, Giants. Here we go. At 2 wins. The Mara family, the Tish family, because you can't forget the Tishes. What's up, Emmanuel? What's up, Matumbo? What's up, Matthew? What's up, everyone? What's up, Todd? You can't forget about the Tishes. You really can't, because they are part of this conundrum. They are part of this. They're part of this train wreck known as the New York Football Giants. Years ago, it was during before the start of the second Judge season. Bob Tish came out and said that if this does not go well, I'm going to have to consider coming in and taking over football operations. That was years ago, Bob. You still haven't fucking done it yet. And I got to watch the Eagles just go off again, marching to another Super Bowl again, while we are in the doldrums. Why we were in the quarterback desert. And I want to talk about the quarterbacks. I love the pundits now. And I love the content creators. And I love everyone that's like, well, we're not a quarterback away. No shit. We haven't been a quarterback away for a while. But when you have a quarterback, it makes your regime go a little easier. It makes things go a little faster. When you're actually able to throw the ball, Mail says, how about Brian Burns? When you're able to throw the ball or matriculate it more than a yard down the field, it works out a little better for your team. It really does. It makes you watch Jameis Winston play. Jameis Winston never met an interception I didn't like. His last full season as a starter in Tampa, threw for over 5,000 yards, threw for 33 touchdowns, but he also threw for 30 interceptions. And little known fact, he set the NFL record for never throwing a pass out of bounds in a single season. Think about that. He never threw the ball out of bounds the entire year. It's an NFL record. Go look it up. It's a very it's a very interesting NFL record, but go look it up. But you still he is the exact opposite of everything that we had. We had a quarterback that couldn't throw the ball 6 yards. He was afraid to throw the ball 6 yards. And we have the whole Cam Ward Sanders debate. We have the whole do the Giants just I love the people. If we have the second overall pick and you have a shot between either Sanders or Ward, I love the people like, well, you need to trade out, get a bunch of assets because we're not just quarterback away. These are the same idiots that told us, same content creators that told us this was a winning team. We got Brian Burns. We got this great combination. We rebuilt the offensive line. How's that offensive line coach looking now? And how bad does Bobby Johnson now look over in Washington? Pretty soon we're going to be able to see the Redskins again. Can't wait. We were never going to be good. We on this channel, we in this chat, I could say we because it's all of us. We never got it. We got it. We understood. You're never going to be good. And I love the poll. Will you? Oh, well, you watch. Well, I wish you well. Will you watch the Giant game this season? 64% say yes. You're part of the problem. You still go out and watch this shit. You still go out and buy merch. You still do all that. You're just lining the pockets of the people that are causing all these issues. If you don't turn around and say enough is enough, I'm a season ticket holder. I'm not going. I literally sold my tickets for $1. Not $1 a piece. Both tickets I sold for $1 because of the fact that this is there is such an arrogance with this ownership. There's such an arrogance with Joe Shane that you just don't want to be part of it because of the fact that you're not winning, but you make it seem like we're in the right direction. You started like this and have gone like this. And in season 4, you see the people like Carl Banks and the people like saying, well, we got to bring them back. Got to bring them back. What have they done? Their draft class is a wreck. The foundational blocks, Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau, didn't pan out. Free agency is a wreck. Their trades are a wreck. Salary cap management, a wreck. The fact that we have homegrown talent that we let go. We're going to get to the next two. We got homegrown talent that you let go and has become more and more improved, even going back to the likes of Evan Ingram, Julian Love, Xavier McKinney, Will Hernandez, not from Connecticut. There's a lineage of giants that have left this organization, this shit show of an organization, and found careers. We don't have to worry about that with Daniel Jones. I love Daniel Jones because I went to Minnesota. It's such a Gen Y, Gen Z thing. I went to Minnesota because I needed a nurturing head coach, not someone who was going to yell at me. Well, thank God you didn't play fucking under Parcells or Coughlin, because you would have been crying over you. And to the other morons on giant Twitter and content creators that said the Eagles weren't going to be a good team. Said the Eagles, it was license plate guy, said that Eagles aren't going to have a good defense. They have a terrible defense. That was like 7 weeks ago. So I had to point out this is a young, growing defense with young talent that by even after midseason, they are going to gel in probably one of the top defenses in the league. You got the Dijon Mustard. You got Mitchell. You got Carter. You just got waves of guys they bring in. Howie retooled once again through the draft. While we were sitting there talking about how great Drew Phillips is. He's so great. He has one of the highest missed tackle percentages and no pass defenses as a corner. Tyrone Tracy. What a back. He just fumbles all the time. Yeah, it's not like you know, one fumble a game is not a big deal for a running back. That's only 17 in a season. And then you got people like, well, yeah, we're still going to go. We're still going to watch. Well, then you're part of the problem. You're the issue. That's why I put this poll up here. You are the issue. Because if you sit there and continuously say, I am going to watch a bad product because I'm a fan, it's gotten worse and worse every year since 7-2. 7-2, 2-5-1, 6-11, and now you're probably going to go 2-15. When you have all these draft picks, your draft arc should be this. It should not be, hey, look at that. No, it shouldn't be that. Your cap, the cap should have been cleared by now, but no, we gave money to Daniel Jones. We decided to give money to Brian Burns. We didn't stagger the contracts with Dexter Lawrence or Andrew Thomas. We let Xavier McKinney walk. Just imagine you didn't sign Brian Burns. You had enough cap space to bring back McKinney, Barkley. You could have brought back Julian Love 2 years ago. Because Julian Love misread the market, came back hat in hand to the Giants, and Joe Shane said, no, I like our safeties. What has he done in reference to talent valuation, Joe Shane? Really, what has he done? I still love it to this day. Yeah, let's see. The Bears are driving up the price, and the Eagles are out. What happens when Saquon rushes for 2,000 yards in an Eagle uniform? And I know what people are going to say, well, he's not going to have that same type of production here in New York. Probably not. But you're probably going to win some games. Because that's what we did during that playoff season. That's what we did last year. Probably win some games. You know, it's amazing. You may have been only a 6-win team right here with Saquon Barkley last year, but you're a 2-win team without him. That tells you something. And I love the guy on Hard Knocks who's basically said there, when Joe Shane was like, well, there's a lot of guys in the running back market, man. Yeah, and he goes, yeah, none that are game changers. So we keep pouring money into the coffers of the Giants. The Giants keep giving us the big middle finger. And if they have the stupidity to bring back Joe Shane and Brian Dable, that's the big fuck you to all Giant fans. You get year 4 of this mess. Because fly, Eagles, fly, go Birds. Go Birds. I learned that, Trenton. I learned that because I live in Pennsylvania. But I learned that. The other day. That if you wear Eagles stuff outside the house, all you have to say to you, well, we have a code. Because I could say that because I'm a Saquon Barkley Eagle fan. We have a code. It's just, you just see someone down the street, you don't say anything. You see with their shirt on, you say, go Birds. That's it. That's all you do. That's how cool we are. I'm actually going to the Eagle game. Why am I going to the Eagle game? Well, first of all, I got free tickets. So, I mean, that's step number 1. Want Tim to go to an Eagle game? Give him free tickets. Second of all, it's versus the Carolina Panthers. So it's going to be a win. Plus, I want to see Saquon Barkley run for like 1,000 yards against the Panthers. But I'm also going to go to a what's-called game. I have to get I have to go. I'm going to go to Washington game too, so don't feel bad. But I'll be there on Sunday. But if you keep pouring your monies into the Giant coffers, you are part of the problem. Todd's has been watching for 40 plus years. When you know they're going to be bad to suck, it's not that bad. Yeah, it's still bad. People with unrealistic expectations are the ones seasons like this hurt. 3-12-1 was a hurtful season. And it was on the when was it? What's up, Herbert? It was who was it? It was Art Stapleton yesterday or 2 days ago. He won.
Stupid Giant Twitter post.
He had the stupid Giant Twitter post basically saying, hey, listen, here's the if you want to fire George Young, here's his record. Hold on. Anytime after 3. He basically said, hey, you have to you would have gotten fired. But then I broke down the 83 season. He used the 83 season as one of his crescendos. And I pointed out that more than half the team on the 83 season were part of the 86 championship. So, I mean, just throwing that out there. I'm sorry, I'm working and texting at the same time. Let's see here. Good morning, Tim. Good morning, OBB family. What's going on? Captain, I know. Emmanuel. Yo. Matthew says, I support my team no matter what. I'm glad the DJ airs. However, this team has more positive outlook in spite of a bunch of dumb ownership. No, Matthew, I wish they did. If we literally broke down this roster, we did it, I think it was week 4. And we did it to the fact that we found out there was maybe like 4 guys. I think out of the 22 starters, there were 4 guys that would be starters on other teams or would be starters on playoff teams. So that's an issue right there. Can we please just do away this regime? I agree. And management, I agree. And we've already said it from how about Brian Burns? My Mo Dog says, I knew I should have put money down on Saquon's MVP season in the beginning. It's Cam Ward season now. I like Cam Ward. Said it before. Did a video on it. He reminds me of Charlie Ward. I remember the 94 Charlie Ward season in Florida State. And the way he played and just his maneuverability and his ability to look downfield and make the throws and continues to look downfield and just the way he is in the pocket and the presence. And like I said, Cam Ward reminds me a lot of 1994 Charlie Ward. Crazy record. The whole shit is crazy. Danny says, every fan with a brain knows Saquon was held back because of poor offensive line and even poor quarterback. When Saquon Barkley came into the league, when Saquon Barkley was the second round golden jacket pick, he had Eli Manning under center, and the Giants had a horrific offensive line. And if you take a look going into that 18 season, the Giants had a terrible offensive line, but they had a quarterback who understood how to position Barkley in the right place to allow him to be successful. So he rushes for over 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns, catches another 91 passes. You go the following year, 2019, Saquon Barkley gets hurt, misses 3 games. Why did he get hurt? Because he went after an errant pass thrown by Daniel Jones, but still runs for 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. But all of a sudden, he went from 91 receptions to 52. Why? Because they had a rookie quarterback. You would think with the rookie quarterback, he would have used Barkley more as a safety valve. His targets went from 121 to 73. And then I laugh because the best games that Barkley had in that 19 season, which were 100-yard rushing games, were with Eli Manning under center. So, yes, your quarterback is important to putting your players in the position to make them successful. Daniel Jones doesn't do that. I'll watch them on TV, not to go to the game. No, I'm not even watching them on TV. And as Robert says, I knew the season was washed. I don't buy merch, but I watch the games to root for the other team, so at least I'll be happy with the results regardless. Biggest issue for the Knicks fans for every long time. It took 17 seasons with Carmelo Anthony and KP on the roster for the Knicks fans to start lowering the ratings. It worked. What happened with the Knicks is what should happen with the Giants. The Knicks basically walked it back after the Phil Jackson fiasco. James Dolan turned the keys to the kingdom over to Phil Jackson. Said this, I'm going to stay out of basketball operations. Now, his stupidity with Dolan, he couldn't stay out of the garden and stop picking fights with people like Charles Oakley and people like that. But he clearly stayed out of it. And it was the wrong pick. It wasn't until this new regime came in that they did it the right way, that they backed up. They took a process. And I hate using that word because I go to a lot of Philadelphia Sixers games. They use the process. Oh, the process. The process worked so well in Philadelphia. Only Joel Embiid was left over from the process. But they followed a philosophy, and it worked. And it's working now. And it's going to work now. And Bridges is going to be fine. Everyone just needs to fucking relax with Bridges. Bridges went from being the number 1 option to now being like the 3rd to 4th option on this team. So it's going to take some time. It's easier for Big Cat to come in here and excel because he's still the number 1 option or number 1A with Brunson. But right off the bat, you got Cat, you got Brunson, and then you have Bridges. And then potentially the way OG Anunoby's been playing, you got OG playing well enough to be the 3rd option as well. So Bridges went from the 1st option to the 4th. He'll be fine. I think, and I know he had some problems defensively. Just relax, guys. I think Cam is better and has way more upside, but I already know they will pick Sanders. I think Cam, I've said this before, what worries me, and there's certain people that don't get this because they never played. And I could tell they never played. When your dad is the head coach, going back to Pop Warner, going back to Pal League basketball, when your dad's the head coach, you get away with so much. You start more. Majority of dads. I've seen some dads that don't do this, but the majority of dads, they do this. It's your son can do no wrong. And that's what's going on. It's like the other Sanders kid, which is the corner, who is pretty much an asshole. He never gets disciplined. Why? Because daddy's the head coach. Well, daddy's not going to be the head coach in New York. The New York press is going to have a field day with Sanders because of his attitude, but the problem is it's going to wear thin if he doesn't excel. And I said before, I think Sanders may have more talent immediately than Ward, but I also have a feeling that Ward, projected long term, will be a better option at quarterback. We could do the same with the New York Giants. We could. What do we got here? I have a good feeling that we will be bad for many, many years to come. Then this is the shit I was afraid of when we fired Tom Coughlin. What are we, 50, 91, and what are we, 50, 90, and 1? Since we fired Tom Coughlin, something crazy like that. It's the curse of Tom Coughlin. My guess was 2023 when we turned a new page. I said it before. I said when DJ signed the contract that this was going to set the team back 5 years starting in the first year of the contract was 2023. Because I said if he either got hurt or flamed out, it was going to happen. So you figure 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027. If you project it well, we should be good by 2027. Yeah, but we still suck. My Eagles are flying high. Thanks to Joe Shane. Thank you, Joe. You know, we love it.
It feels amazing. Last year it was, tough year for me mentally. Did a really good job of.
They love the Cowboys.
I'm gonna stop you for a second. I'm gonna let the crowd take.
We're just gonna let the crowd take that one. No, sorry. Let's see. Your Crag World says, "Sorry, Tim, I have to tune in. It helps me get an afternoon nap in." I don't know if that's an insult or a good thing. I got a question. What's up, Mr. Roberts? Why do fans think Ho Shane is good at cap management? This guy talks about trying to have $10 million in operation cap space every year. He flirts with going over the cap. We traded
King of the almost sack
because we didn't have any money to sign a quarterback. And I love when Joe Shane came out, well, we gave him the option. No, you really didn't. He was gone no matter what because you didn't have money to even bring in a quarterback. I think right now we're like $2 or $3 million in cap space. Mr. Weaver says the problem is, Tim, everyone is so soft in the Giants organization. Tom wasn't that. His voice resonated all through the dugout. I guarantee if Tom was a coach and neighbors told him, he would have been benched. Listen, if 2007, 2011 Coughlin had a and it doesn't have to be at the position of a wide receiver, but if he had a player with that type of attitude, where yes, he is immensely talented, 100%, but your production does not equal your talent. We've talked about this before. He's now averaging under 10 yards a reception. His yak is like 3. You would think by chance he would break one. Fucking Kadarius Toney did it on short pass. You would think by chance with his immense talent, Malik Neighbors would accidentally find the end zone on a long run. No. He's the new pinball. But Coughlin would not have put up with it. He would have been benched. He would have been benched. Then you had the likes of Kayvon Thibodeau coming out and talking and saying, if you could produce, you can talk in this. Well, Kayvon, you're not producing either. So why are you even fucking talking? Stapleton also tried to rationalize bringing Shane and Dable back. I don't see how they can, but they wouldn't be surprised if they do. Well, first of all, we all know Art Stapleton is like what I like to refer to as giant paid beat writers. No, he's not really. I know that, but he's basically it's basically being on the Giant payroll. That's why. Tim, I want to buy some jerseys. I was thinking Bradshaw, Eli. Can you suggest another one? Could ever go wrong with throwback Taylor? I personally just bought not too long ago. No, it was almost a year ago. I got my Harry Carson throwback. I like I said, because I resonate more with that. Of course, if you want to go real old school, go get a 15 Craig Morton and cry. Hey, Tim. We are one step closer to Cam Ward. I hope to God we are. Anthony says, I'm afraid the Eagles letting us win on week 18. The way things are right now, we are so up Schitt's Creek. We will be jumped to like 8th pick with a win. I'm afraid we'll blow our pick then, by the way. That's the problem, though. And I don't believe the Eagles tanked under the Judge era. It was weird that they took out Hurts. It was weird that game, yes. But as a Giant fan, did you really want to go to the playoffs at 6-10? You didn't earn it. You would have won that. You would have won that one game. We're 7-9. We came off big. We came up like 7-up against the Seahawks, and then we flamed out against the Cardinals. You didn't win your way in. That's a problem. Good morning, Tim. Cam yells a true Giant quarterback. He gives me quite a sass and wouldn't mind Sanders. I like Dart too. What do you think about Dart? Here's the thing about Dart. Dart and Kyle McCord are now everyone's darlings. They're all darlings, and of course, Dart is he has the Eli connection with that. Those what are those? Was it the Running Rebels, the Ole Miss Rebels, or not Running Rebels? The Rebels, yeah, they are the Rebels. So you got that Eli connection. He's played well this season. You cannot deny that he has made a do I want to say a Herculean leap, because he had a pretty good year in 2023. He's not a one-year guy. That's the thing. He's not one thing I like about Dart. He's not a 1 year guy. He's been playing since 2021. He's not a one hit wonder. He had 3,300 yards, I think, last year with like 24 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. I know he's got 25 and 6 this year, and I know he's almost at 4,000. He would be, to me, if you're going to go later second, him and McCord, you could take a shot. And like I said, I like the fact that he's put in the time, he's put in the effort, he's put in the games, and he's played consistently in the last 4 years. It would be the giant thing to do. What have we got, Mr. Deems? Says if the Giants get the number 1 pick, should they trade away for a haul? We all know Archie and the New York Giants soulmates. Lol, if Neighbors is not corrected, will be OBJ 2.0. There's so much to unpack with that super chat. There's so much to unpack with that. No. First up, if you have the number 1 overall pick, Archie is not till 2026. He's not eligible to come out. We don't know exactly what Archie is yet. We've seen him play in spurts. We haven't seen him over a full season. Chris Sims, when he went to Texas, couldn't beat out Major Applewhite. Chris Sims was one of the highest ranked quarterbacks coming out of high school. Couldn't beat out Major Applewhite in Texas. He finally got in, showed some moments, showed that he was good, showed that he had some talent. But he went second round to Tampa, flamed out, had the spleen injury. Never happened. You can't wait for a quarterback. If you have an opportunity to take Ward or Sanders, you got to take it. You may not be we've said this before. We know we're not a quarterback away. But life is a lot easier when you have a quarterback. Life is a lot more simple when you have a quarterback. So I don't even know what Archie Manning is yet. The neighbors thing really does bother me. And I know when people are like, well, you're just an old head. No, I've been told throughout my career that if you want to run your mouth, make sure you back it up. And people are like, well, Tim, he's got the 4th in the league in yards and this. Yeah, he's also only averaging 9.9 yards, 3 touchdowns. His catch percentage has dropped exponentially, which I believe his catch percentage right now, his success rate for catching the ball is 52.6%. His drops are through the they credit him with 2 drops. He had like 4. And the one that bothers me the most, I've said it before, was in the second quarter. He's running a slant route across the middle of the field, of course. He's open. There's a safety behind him. Drew Lock throws the ball, and all of a sudden, Neighbors has got alligator arms. Got T-Rex arms. Oh, I can't catch it. Oh, I missed. That bothered me a lot. How the hell did you get alligator arms during your rookie season? And at least OBJ ran his mouth. But OBJ was running his mouth when he was being the most prolific wide receiver in Giant history. 1,300, 1,450, another 3,000. Then he had the injury, and he came back with another 1,000, 12, 13, 10 touchdowns. He was a prolific wide receiver for the Giants. So you need to figure out, Neighbors. You want to, and I love it because, well, they brought me here. They want me to talk. Who the fuck is they? I've been asking this question now for a week. Who's they? And the chopping of the fucking gum. You're doing that because you're nervous. The sunglasses are on because you don't want anyone to see your eyes, because they always say the eyes are the window of the soul. So you don't want people to see your eyes because you don't really believe in you're not really confident in what you're saying, and then you're chomping the gum. Tells me you're not as cocky and arrogant as you think you are in reference to your talent, because those are all psychological signs of insecurities. They're like when people don't look in the eyes. I always make people laugh because I stare at people in the eyes. I mean, I stare people in the eyes. Freaks people out sometimes. Because they're like, he's not looking away. Why is he not looking away? Because it makes people nervous, especially in business. I always tell people, I used to tell people when I used to help train associates, I used to tell people, listen, firm handshake, stare them in the eyes, pull them in with your handshake. Because that is a sign of confidence. Chomping at the gun, putting on sunglasses, and having a conversation means you don't believe 100% what you're saying. I was thinking LT too. I would go with LT. Charlie, what's up, Charlie? Do you complete? We did a completely space as an organization by passing on Bo Nix. Listen, a lot of people did. I did not think Bo Nix was going to be as good as Bo Nix is right now. But the question is Bo Nix this good, or is Bo Nix more of a product of a system for Sean Payton? I had the same question about Malik Willis. Is Malik Willis really this good? Or is he a product of Matt LaFleur's system? It's like running backs back in Shanahan's day in Denver. It was literally like they could grab a guy off the street and he would rush for 1,000-yard season. Was it they were good? Because most of them never went anywhere else and didn't have any success. Or was it the fact that this blocking scheme was so well done for the Broncos that anyone can rush for 1,000 yards? So I don't want to say we missed on that one. I love the guy in the there was a guy in the comment section on, I can't remember what day it was. I think it was on Tuesday. No, it was I don't remember what day it was. I think it was either Sunday or something when he's like, yeah, look at all the black Elis. Look how well they're playing. Caleb Williams isn't letting his team down the last 5 weeks. The defense letting him down. Jaden Daniels freaking awesome. Drake May is starting to turn the corner. We're going to see Penix because Cousins got benched, and we're not bringing in Cousins. Oh, dear Lord, please fucking stop. As the bridge. No, you're going to bring in someone like Jameis Winston. Probably not because he's black. But you're going to bring in someone like that. Let's see here. Bringing back Dave Shane is asking for another year of losing. Trenton, what do you care? I know you're an Eagle fan, and I know you are happy about it. Oh, we're going to bring him back again. That's another 2 wins in the division. Don't forget to hit the chat. Don't forget to hit the like. Do all that fun stuff. He's got his team at 8-5. Right? He's got his team at 8-5 right now. He really has. Sean Payton turned around that mess in Denver in 2 years. We can't turn around the truck in 12. Do you think maybe Sean Payton was a good hire in Denver? You think Matt LaFleur was a good hire in Green Bay? You think John McVay was a good hire with the Rams? Giants only hope that they kidnap Howie Roseman and force him to work for them. I would take Howie. I would take Howie in a heartbeat. What did he say? That's perfect. I would take Howie in a heartbeat. But we have a Howie disciple here in Brandon Brown. But our brain trust, known as Joe Shane, won't listen. I don't really listen to anyone here in the room. He doesn't listen to anybody. You could see Joe Shane does not listen to his staff. If you fired Joe Shane right now, I don't think anyone in that building that he brought in would really mind that much. Mr. Alvarez says the fans were fine with 9-7. The shameless fan base definitely would have been happy with the team. I know they would have. 1,300 yards and missed 4 missed games his rookie season. Hamstring issue. Yep. What do we got here? Brandon Williams says, Tim, I really think Maris should hire a third party because I feel like he's clueless on how to build a good team. He needs another set of eyes to evaluate this team. Bill Parcells went to Miami. Bill Parcells went to Miami and was senior vice president and executive of football operations. His first year, I think they were 1-15. Next year, I think they go 9-7. Chad Pennington make the playoffs because the Miami ownership stepped back and let Bill take over the building. Said this before. I don't want Bill Belichick as a head coach. I don't want Bill Belichick as a general manager. But Bill Belichick, from like him, hate him, whatever, he is a winner. He understands football. Bring him in as president of... Right now, Mayor is president and CEO of the Giants. make Bill Belichick senior vice president of football operations, have him hire the general manager, have Belichick and the general manager work in cahoots, hire the head coach, let them build this from the ground up. And in 3-4 years, when Belichick is gone, you already have the foundation in place for a winner. It's the Patriot way. I'm staring into your eyes right now, Tim. Looking through my eyes. I would just like to see that across the table in the meeting. I had one person who was laughing. It was a financial institution. It was a multi-million-dollar deal, and we were trying to get them on a better price. And I loved it because after the meeting, we were talking after everything got signed, and one of the CEOs came up to me and said, "You know what scared me about you?" I said, "What?" He goes, "You didn't blink." And he goes, "I don't think you blinked for like an hour." We said, first one to blink. It's the one that loses. Mr. Roberts says, waiting for Arch is staying in school in 2027 the same as not getting a quarterback in 2022 because you could have waited for Stroud the following years, and the Giants fluked their way out of the top 5 pick. You're 100% right. They did. Oh, yeah, like Reuben Drones. Orlandis Gary, I think was another big name from the days of yore over in Denver. Not many people got my Charlie Ward reference. Maybe I am old. Evan says Tyrod Taylor was productive in his offense. Jones wasn't better than Tyrod Taylor, but got paid like a franchise quarterback. We've said this before, Evan. We've said this before, and we said this a million times. When Daniel Jones came up for free agency, because we didn't pick up that 5th-year option, which was smart, came up for free agency, 31 other teams and most of the league and most of the pundits outside of New York said that Daniel Jones would not have gotten Mitchell Trubisky money. And the year prior, Trubisky got an $8 million for 1 year with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That he wouldn't even have got Trubisky money. So we give him 160. And to this day, I hear, don't worry, it's a 2-year out. Just because something's a 2-year out doesn't mean you're not wrecking your team in the interim. And for every 2-year out, you need to add a minimum. I've said this before. You need to add a minimum of 3 years before this team is good with that 2-year out. If you draft properly. And we haven't drafted properly. We haven't. Not even close. Where do we go, my lovely? Let's see here. What do we got here? I got to give props to Big James Williams. And I thought it was funny because James had a post on Twitter today. And I always I laugh because anytime you do something with me, you need to have a caveat. You need to have some type. You have to spell things out because James. And if you don't know James, everyone knows James. Go follow James under _Quint on Twitter. He goes, I have $100 super chat to any giant content creator or creators who thinks they can out-debate me on the topics of Daniel Jones, Joe Shane, Saquon Barkley, drafting a black quarterback, or why we should trade Kayvon Thibodeau now. My name is James Williams. This is not a prank. So, my dumb ass, I said, okay, 11:30 a.m. today. He didn't tell me I wasn't involved. James, you didn't tell me I wasn't involved. Chill Daddy, I wear it just for you. There's a cowboy helmet over there too, somewhere too. I wear it just for you. I wear the Eagles jersey with pride because, like I said, not only am I a Giant fan, I'm a football fan. I'm a Saquon Barkley fan. If Saquon Barkley would have went to the Bears, I'd be wearing a Bears jersey. I got a Xavier McKinney jersey. And you may call them the Pigeons, but the Pigeons know how to draft. I remember sitting in the bar after the draft party with Big El Gigante. And there was somebody there, and we've told this story before. There was somebody there that worked for the Giants because they were going to a wedding. And I love it because when they picked up Mitchell and the Dijon mustard, we were talking, I said, they just rebuilt their entire secondary. They literally just rebuilt their secondary. That's how you do it. You can love them. You can hate them. You can be a fan of them. You cannot be a fan of them. But you have to, if you are a football fan, it's like I'm a basketball fan. I'm a Knicks fan. But at the end of the day, I'm a basketball fan first. I have partial season tickets to the Sixers. So what is it? And I also go to the Knicks games because I enjoy basketball. I enjoy being there. I enjoy watching the game. So watching a team like the Eagles put on a clinic. Cooper DeJean put on a tackling clinic. I have always talked about and extolled the virtues of the proper way to tackle. And that proper way to tackle is to lead with your shoulder, wrap up, drive with your legs. Cooper literally gave a clinic on that the other night. Literally gave a clinic on how to do that. To the fact that I'm actually literally going to post it. I think I'm posting it tomorrow. Because that's how the Giants have this thing where everything is a shoulder tackle. Everything is we're going to hit him with our shoulder, hopefully knock him off to the ground, and then he'll be fine. And that's how we have some of the most missed tackles in the entire league. Because we've all of a sudden forgotten how to tackle. I mean, it's literally tackling 101 with Cooper. It's amazing to me that we don't teach this as fans. Or we don't or you're supposed to learn this tackling in Pop Warner. But he literally put on a clinic on how to do that. So I have to give that, and I love it because the Eagles head coach calls him a meat and potatoes guy. We like him because he's a meat and potatoes guy. He's also an extremely sound football player who has wonderful technique. Something that the Giants, if you literally wanted to take a synopsis or a snapshot on how to tackle and how to tackle properly, that's the way to look at it. That is literally the way to look at it. But we don't do that. We see it because of the fact that he is an Eagle, that we can't learn anything. If anything, we should be learning from the mistakes of the Cowboys. Here we go. There you go. What do? You wrap up, lead with your head, lead with your shoulder. Don't lead with your head, excuse me. You lead with your shoulder, wrap up, arm tackle, drive to the turf with your legs. I have been talking about this tackling technique since I started this fucking channel and how we just don't do it. What does Ryan say? What's up, Tim? Hey, Tim, Joe Dable will set the team back another 5 years. They keep their spots. They are another Jones shit show. Here's the problem with Dable and Shane. They took their quarterback. How many times have we said this? Their quarterback was there. The moment the ink dried on that stupid $160 million deal, they picked their quarterback. He was no longer a Gettleman guy because he was gone. No. You brought him back. You want to chuckle? Who wants to have a good laugh today? Do I have a laugh button? I don't know. I don't even know what that does. I don't know. If you want to have a good chuckle, I'm going to give everyone a good chuckle out there. If Daniel Jones suits up for one game, and then leaves to sign a free agent contract someplace else outside of Minnesota, the Minnesota Vikings get a compensatory pick. I'm going to say that again. He leaves. Soon enough for one game, the Vikings get a compensatory pick. Didn't see that one coming, did you, Joe? Mr. Roberts says a 2-year out would have implied you would get scot-free from ramification. I never understood the immense almost $20 million cap space. Well, here's the thing. It wasn't 20. It was 18. We didn't have enough cap space, so we had to extend some dead money and some cap money into 2025. So that 18 went to 22. Now, if he does a post June 1st, he could divide that up, whomever, over 2025, 2026 at $11 million a year. Problem is this: if you go back to the Logan Ryan misstep, where Joe Shane only saved $697,000 when he could have saved millions in the cap space that year because he took all the dead cap money up front for the Logan Ryan deal. So having Joe manage anything is just, I would not have Joe manage a lemonade stand. Howie says, what's up? How Evan says, Howie knows the strength of the draft and drafts his value, understands needs while adding good value players. Nakobe Dean, Jalen Carter. I mean, there is a lineage that you could go down of Eagle draft picks. When Kelsey retired 2 years prior, or 3 years prior, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 years, they had already drafted his replacement. They already went out and got his replacement before he retired. Because they knew when he retired, they had the kid on the roster to come right in. We can't figure out how to tackle. We like to talk. Oh, we're good at talking. If there was an all-talk team, Giants would be number one. There was an all-talk team, the Giants would have the greatest team out there. And where there was a team to run your mouth, the Giants would be winners. 100%. 1,000%. The Giants would be winners. Let's go to the all-talk team.
Up and become a leader and be a vocal leader, because you have a lot of young players on this team. We've talked a lot about the age, and obviously you guys need guidance in whatever circle, whatever corner of the locker room. You want guys to kind of step up and be themselves. From your perspective, how long does that take?
Well, if you ask me from a real standpoint, in my personal opinion, this is a not for long league. So telling guys that you have to wait till after a certain amount of time to be a leader is kind of like it's smoke and mirrors, because the average is only 3 years. So it's like, how long do you expect a great player to come in and not say anything, you know?
So first of all, this is Kayvon, but he's talking about a great player against someone that in the league average is like 3.5 years. That's a league average player. That doesn't make any sense, Kayvon. You were also the same idiot that came in here when you got drafted and said, I'm getting a sack a week.
That's kind of not realistic. And then on the other side of that, you know, I think it's beneficial. Obviously, we hope that the speaking up and everything else is uplifting and for the greater good of the team.
Uplifting. It was nothing uplifting about what he said. There was there was just him chewing the gum.
But for me, as soon as, you know, when I came in, I kind of faced the same questions as neighbors did a couple weeks ago. But
same questions. You came in and said you were getting a sack a week. You got 5.5. This is why rookies need to shut up and play.
But I'm a guy who, you know, I believe that this is a meritocracy, right? So if you make plays, you have a voice. If you don't make plays, you don't have a voice.
Okay, so Malik Neighbors just consistently dropping the ball, never scoring touchdowns, and only averaging 9 yards of reception. Should speak all he wants. Are we just seeing the idiocy here? Are we just seeing the idiocy? Malik Neighbors has been targeted 116 times. 116 times. Ladd McConkey has only been targeted 73 times. Oh, excuse me, 81 times. Brian Thomas Jr. has only been targeted 73 times. Marvin Harrison, 78 times. Roma Zude, 76. Harrison has 7 touchdowns. Thomas has 6. Bowers has 6. Leggett has 4. McConkey has 4. Worthy has 4. Hell, even Keenan Coleman has 3. Where is our guy? Where's our guy? Keenan Coleman leading the all rookies with 19 yards reception. Brian Thomas 16.6, playing with Mac Jones. You got the kid from Carolina, what's his name? Coker, 15.5. Marvin Harrison, 14.8. Ladd McConkey, 14.1. Ray Davis, 13.9. Rome, 13.2. Mitchell with the Colts, 12.7. Worthy, 12. What's his name? Ricky, 12.0. 12. We have Theo Johnson, 11. Whittington, 11. McMillan, 11. Leggett, 10. Browers, 10. Franklin, 10. Oh, there's Malik Neighbors, 9.9. You would think that Neighbors was ripping apart the league. Brock Bowers leads the all rookies with 884 yards. Then McConkey at 815. Brian Thomas at 765. Marvin Harrison, and then you got Malik Neighbors. Then behind him, you have Marvin Harrison at 606. And Harrison has been targeted almost 40 times less than Neighbors. And you took this guy 6th overall because you went against all NFL conventional wisdom and said we are going to draft a wide receiver to fix the quarterback. Arizona went with Marvin Harrison because they had Kyler Murray. Ladd McConkey, they had the Duck. But we're not looking at this from a percentage. No. We are looking at this from just the overall ability. I'm not saying that Neighbors was not a good pick at 6, but when you need, here's the thing: when people say, "Well, we shouldn't draft a quarterback. We should go some other position. We should trade out and go some other position." When you take a wide receiver at 6 and you don't have a quarterback, you get the Malik Neighbors season. For all the people that's saying that Malik Neighbors is having one of the best rookie seasons ever. No, he's not. Ladd McConkey is, and Brian Thomas Jr. is. And Brian Thomas Jr. has got Mac Jones as quarterback and has twice the amount of touchdowns and is averaging 7 yards more a reception. I love it because Buffalo, who let everyone go, still picked up Ray Davis and Keenan Coleman and figured it out. But we're going to have a guy that gets all these second most receptions in the league, but also has the second most drops. And we're going to listen to him because of the fact that it's the hierarchy. It's the hierarchy. I don't need this hierarchy. Just listen to me. I'm a rookie. I know everything because you know everything about the NFL. That's what bothers me a lot of times with the likes of, with the likes of the giant media and certain segments of content creators. That we look at half the stuff. Like I said, I pointed out Drew Phillips is not having this miracle season that everyone thinks he's having. That he's just that Drew. And like I said, I'm not knocking Drew Phillips. I think he is going to be a okay corner, but I also don't think that you have to sit there and anoint him as this guy until he's fully matured in his role. Because if you take a look what he does statistically, it just doesn't jive what people are telling me what they see on the field. And I'm not sitting there, like I said, I'm not picking on the kid. I'm not sitting there trying to pick on the kid. I'm picking on the fact that I go to games. I go to all the games. And there's a different perspective. Even Phil Simms said it the other day. There's a different perspective from watching from the field level or in the stands than there is in watching television. So you see Drew Phillips making a tackle. I also see Drew Phillips missing a large percent of his tackles. He has an 8.5 missed tackle percentage. If you are a top 25 or top 30 corner, I'm not saying he is, you should be around 5. He's got an 8.5. Teams are targeting him 31 times. He's got 31 targets, 25 receptions, 80% completion percentage, averaging 10.9 yards a reception with something like 20-something first downs. And he's still playing in 64% of the plays. He has no interceptions and no pass defenses. Yes, I will say that again. Your starting corner, or one of your starting corners, has 0 pass defenses. Misses almost 9% of his tackles. But and the league is completing 80% of their passes against them for 272 yards, for 10.9 yards of reception. The average target against him, which means the average amount of yards downfield that they're throwing against Drew Phillips, is almost 9, with a passer rating of 114. How many times have we said it, guys? Great balls of fire. And I mentioned this on a video the other day, and someone goes to me, well, you're just throwing out Pro Football Focus stats. No, these are league stats. These are the Giants stats. These aren't me. This isn't Pro Football Focus. This isn't me. This is the league. And how many tackles did he miss against Dallas? That damn fucking shoulder tackle. He must have learned that from Adoree Jackson. We're going to call this, if you want to learn, we're going to call this the Cooper. Lead with your shoulder, wrap up, use your legs, drive into the turf. Tackling 101. What do we got here? Where am I? Mr. Robert says, I've seen people in the chat have better talent evaluation than host Shane. I think that's true. Good point. Joe Shane is the Daniel Jones of GMs. I would give you a drum roll, but that's way too honest. Brian Dable is the Daniel Jones. I'll give you that. The 2 for 2 from Mark. Dan says, I watched UNV on Saturday, was dealing with the coach in question. Tackling looked like a team quitting, but yes, no technique to bring with. You have to have technique. Everything is about technique. Maybe I am an old head because when I played from Pop Warner up, the first thing they taught you was technique, proper technique. Because not only does it allow you to make the play, it keeps you safe. It is the correct way, which is the safer way to tackle. Throwing your shoulder into someone and hoping you're knocking them down, that's not technique. That's a wing and a prayer. Mark says the whole fan base needs to know John Mara does not draft black quarterbacks. For some reason, we will not get a Ward or a Sanders. Well, they've never drafted a black quarterback. You're right. They have played, I think, 2. Gino and Tyron. I said it before. I don't think the Giants are inherently racist. I just think if you go back into their lineage, I mean, from what, 79 to 93, you had Phil Simms. And then you and the leagues weren't, the league wasn't busting down the doors to draft African-American quarterbacks in the early 90s. You look, like I said, we look at Charlie Ward, look at Tommy Frazier, you look at some other guys that, had prolific college careers and never went into the pros. Tommy Frazier also had the leg injury. So then even when you went through the 90s, you still took Dave Brown. So you had Dave Browns for a bunch of years. Then you ran into Kerry Collins. Then you ran into Eli Manning. The Giants just haven't drafted quarterbacks in general since you go back to Kyle Lauletta, the Richmond Spider. And that's why I love when Joe Shane's with Ryan Poles and he's that one thing and he goes to Ryan, well, at least you don't have to worry about drafting a quarterback. Well, Joe, you wouldn't have to worry about drafting a quarterback either if you actually drafted one. It doesn't have to be in the first round. It can be a second, it can be third, it can be fourth, it can be fifth, it can be sixth, it can be seventh. What quarterback do you want the Giants to draft this upcoming draft? I've said it before. I'm a Cam Ward guy. I wasn't at the beginning of the season. I really wasn't. I thought Carson Beck was going to be the guy coming in the beginning of the season. I really liked him. And then I thought I was going to be Beck, Sanders, and then Ward. But Ward, even in the loss the other day, and I love it because he lost to Colin McCord over in Syracuse. And I laugh because people are like, well, you still want Cam Ward, even though we lost to Syracuse. Well, first of all, one player does not lose for an entire team. That's a lot of people's first lack of understanding. It's also a guy that's thrown for over 4,000 yards, 36 touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions. And he threw 25 of 36, complete 79% of his passes, 9 yards of reception for 2 touchdowns, and 349 yards. And only took 1 sack. He did not give up 42 points. He scored 38. You score 38 with what you hope is a championship defense, you should win 99.9% of the games. No, but they lost. What does Walla Walla have to say here? The Giants have turned into the Carolina, the team where players go to get fat paychecks and do little else. Yeah, we got one of those guys in Brian Burns. What about Brian Burns? Ward or Sanders, but Merritt doesn't want a black quarterback, unfortunately. I don't know. We'll see. He's got an opportunity. I think there is a segment of the fan base, and we've talked about this before, about drafting an African-American quarterback, that unless you are going to give them 6 years, like you gave Daniel Jones, this next quarterback is going to get a quick hook. Make sure you hit the like button. And if you get a quick hook and it's a black quarterback, you're going to get more claims of racism against the Giants. Aaron Rodgers has 19 touchdowns this season. Everyone said how bad he is in Jetland. They gave DJ $40 million and throw 15 touchdowns since the beginning of that contract. Mr. Roberts says Tibbs doesn't get a sack, needs to stop talking, learn some drag. That's the thing. Learn some damn pass moves. That really is the thing with Kayvon Thibodeau. You watch him sometimes and you're like, we used to talk about when O'Shane Ximines came out of Old Dominion. O'Shane had 10.5 sacks his final season in college, but he basically had a spin move. And he used speed. We drafted him. The first thing I said is he needs to come up with more of a repartee. He needs to get a plethora of sack moves, or it's just going to get silly fast because people are going to just key on what the one thing he does. And I kind of said the same thing about Kayvon. I said, not that he's limited like O'Shane was, but he needs to come up with, how about you dip your shoulder? How about you stop cutting so wide, taking your rush out so wide that the tackle just pushes you towards the sideline? Brian Burns kind of does the same thing. How about you just cut it back inside once in a while? Develop.
You say I have a plethora of piñatas?
Develop a plethora of moves, and you will be unstoppable. But the problem is, I don't think Kayvon's got the motor. Coming out of Oregon, there was always the talk, there was always the chatter that he didn't have the heart. He's the Tin Man. He doesn't have a heart. He didn't have the heart. And he took a lot of plays off. I watched Oregon games. I really didn't see it. So I kind of said during the draft video, I said, yeah, I liked Kayvon Thibodeau. I don't see what people are saying, the fact that he doesn't play hard. But then you watch him and you're like, well, at times he kind of doesn't play hard and doesn't play up to his potential. And at times he just looks downright silly. This is the Kayvon Thibodeau highlight reel. Being blocked for a first down by the quarterback. Great balls of fire. Oh, Mr. That's up Logic Funds. Neighbors doesn't understand New York at all. Hardest fan base on earth. You can walk on water today, 1 game losing place tomorrow, and the fans want you gone. Neighbors is talking his way out of town. He really is. I always jokingly said when people are like, hey, when are you going, when is he going to request a trade? I said week 3, the third quarter. El Scorch says, I might watch it on TV, won't spend any money on this team until they turn around. Sup, peeps, says Eric. Mr. Roberts says, speaking of the Giants going against conventional wisdom, they had a weak interior offensive line. They drafted an undersized center. JMS was a great selection, right, guys? When we did our draft video, the first thing I said is I would not draft JMS. I said he was an undersized center in college, and everyone was like, well, what about Tyler Linderbaum? What about Jason Kelsey? What about this? And I said he's an undersized center in college, and he for what other reason? What reason I don't know, because he's a former wrestler. He doesn't understand leverage. He's not going to understand how to use his leverage, and he was going to be bull rushed. He's going to be bull rushed by the Giants. Plain and simple. Yes, we look alike. I am his uncle. People do not know that I am JMS's uncle. Look at that. Same rock solid chin, same cheekbone, same smile. I am JMS's uncle, for those that do not know that. But as a center, I thought now you got to remember, he lost weight coming out of college. I said Joe Tippmann was going to be a better prospect because Joe Tippmann was what you would refer to as more the prototypical center. And I said JMS is going to struggle. You don't know what you're talking about, Tim. No, I can see that he was going to get bull rushed. And now he has given up 6 sacks this season, the most by any center in the league. Giants fans keep drafting the right players for the other teams. I love that. Ms. Roberts says Shane drafting a DB is terrible. A bunch of undersized players where weaknesses coming out of college, failing to take play fakes. Listen, I still think Banks is going to be a good player. I really do. I liked him coming out of Maryland, but he was a system guy for Wink. He does not fit what Shane Bowen likes to do. And again, he's another guy that you picked up, and he's a little bit undersized. But he's a scrappy kid. But I said it before. I subscribe to the theory. I like my corners like 6'2", 225 pounds. I like thumpers. And then again, like I said, I'm a little over 6 feet, 225 pounds. And sometimes I look at these pictures and I laugh. I'm like, maybe I should come back out of retirement. And my favorite one has always still been me and Eric Gray. When I'm bigger than Eric Gray, maybe I should be returning punts because I can fumble just as well. The Giants draft midgets. You are the last dragon. You possess the power of the glow. I would do the whole Bruce Leroy, but I can't with my arms right now. If you look at it, you're right. There's Banks. There's Gray. And hell, there's even JMS. I got to give JMS credit. He was bigger than me. But he should be. He's the center. Banks. Gray. Drafting. Who is calling me on the phone? Don't they know I'm working? Likely scam. I like when things are not likely scam. Let's see. You are the last dragon. You possess the power of the glow. When you reach that upper level, your mind, body, and soul must be one. It's a sacrifice. I just want to see the dumpster fire rage on. It's raging. Smash the narrative. Draft us, Cam. Cam Ward's draft stock is getting to get hurt like Caleb because the team's defense is terrible, which leads to draft analysis saying that he can only play hero ball. You know what? I see that. I still have the Tay Banks thing up. I forgot to put that down. I see that about him playing hero ball. All he does is play hero. Bring back Dave Meggett. Why not? No, he's in prison. He's in prison for rape. So no, we don't want to bring back Dave Meggett. No, Dave Meggett. You know what? I want a guy who plays hero ball. Yeah, he's going to make mistakes. We talk about Jameis Winston. Like I said, his last year starting in Tampa. Threw for 5,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, and still threw 30 interceptions. Set the NFL record for never throwing the ball out of bounds in an entire season. I want that. After watching, I can't look more than 3 yards down the field, and I'm afraid to throw it. I want stupidity. I will take a hero. We need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero. till the morning light. He's got to be strong. He's got to be brave. He's got to be fresh from the fight. That's what I want. And you know what happened down the road? We've just gotten so used to losing that we've just kind of just pushed away from winning. We've gotten so ingrained in losing that we're afraid to win. I really do think at times I'm gonna have an epiphany. I think the Giants are afraid to win. Because why? You're making billions, you're making millions and billions of dollars off this TV deal. You're not people are like, well, we just won't show up at the games and that'll hurt them. No, they don't. You only have 8 home games. You actually split some of the gate and you have the concessions. You make your money off merchandise and your TV deal. So bad teams can be bad. That's why they have this provision in the collective bargaining agreement that says that you must spend X amount of money of your salary cap, because what was happening was bad teams weren't spending and then just pocketing the TV deal money because of revenue sharing. I think the Giants are afraid to win. Yeah, Caleb's number one, but some analysts said he would fail because only plays hero ball and looks like a solid rookie. He's not letting the Bears down. The Bears defense letting him down. Mara needs to get needs to say fuck it and fire everyone, promote Brandon Brown, and go from there. I kind of don't disagree. I know the season was over when 6 quarterbacks went in the top 12 and we didn't pick one of them. The problem with the Giants is they don't have a veteran wide receiver who has success in the NFL. The Giants should consider signing OBJ to mentor Malik. Well, he's in Miami right now. He's not going anywhere in Miami. Listen, if you had the opportunity to come to the New York Giants and mentor Malik or stay in Miami and be a 5th option for Tua, I'm staying on South Beach. Sorry. I'm going to Beachfront Avenue. I'm not coming to South Street. I'm not coming to New York. I'm not coming to Broadway. No. I'm staying on South Beach. Ron Juan, what's up, Ron Juan? Dale Jones is going to prove us all wrong. He's going to come out like gangbusters with the Vikings and have a Hall of Fame career.
Gentlemen, which brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
And I hope it was this.
What?
Warning, sarcasm. Warning.
Hope it was sarcasm, Ron Juan. Mr. Fitness, salute, Tim. Bring back Dave Mega. I said we can't do that, but I will continue to watch Giant games because I want to watch all of it burn. OG Knockout says, what's up, OG? Not hit that like button. Remember when the Giants fans thought Tommy Cutlets was the answer? Oh, God, I remember that. I kept telling people over and over again, this is a mirage. This is an illusion. And I did a video that basically said that he's going to get wrecked in the Saint game because the Saints actually have a defense. Never got back off the bench. Get loud, get low to this, Tim. Maybe Trump can fix the Giants' problem. Why not? Make the Giants great again. I'm staying where it's warm. I'm staying where it's warm too. If I'm OBJ, I'm not going anywhere outside of South Beach. If you've ever been to South Beach, and I've been to South Beach many times, I lived in Florida, I lived in Miami, and I could go to South Beach in January or December, or I could be in New York and play on a 2-win team. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going. Every Giant content creator that defended Daniel Jones, I want to apologize and stay quiet for a good 6 months. I was 100% correct about Jones from his 3rd rookie game. We have an apology form. It's been out there. And I laugh because I've gotten none of them back. Online Big Blue Daniel Jones lover apology form. We are sorry, Tim. You have been right about DJ for 6 years. P.S. We will never doubt you again. Not one form has been notarized and returned. What is Will's? What is LW? What is WL Graves says? We will beat the Saints on Sunday, no matter who starts for us. Double-edged sword will drop us to fifth. You know what's gonna? Here's the problem: we're relying too much on this draft. We are relying too much to trying to suck. That's why people are like, we need the tank. The tanks never work. The tanks never work well, I should say. Tanks can work, but they never work well. But at the end of the day, you got to play the games that are in front of you. The Giants should draft 2 quarterbacks this year. You mean like some other teams did? Didn't the Patriots take 2 quarterbacks? New York let all their leaders. What does Neil say? New York will let all the leaders walk out the door. No discipline will get you 2 wins in a season every time. No discipline. This team is not disciplined. And that comes from the top. That comes from the head coach to your coordinators, to your position coaches, to everything. This team is not disciplined from the front office, which shows the way they mismanage. It's amazing to me how much Joe Schoen gets wrong. You would think he would get shit right by accident. You would think that. You would think that he would just by mistake get something right. But at the end of the day, he just literally swings and misses. Darren Beaver's gone. McKeithen gone. DJ Davidson average. McFadden average. Belton garbage. Bellinger below average. Flott average. Azuda should be gone. Wando Robinson, the king of getting pulled down behind and 5 yards in a cloud of dust. Evan Neal garbage. Kayvon Thibodeau garbage. Owens gone. Riley. Where's Riley? Riley plays every once in a while. You don't see anything. Trey Hawkins garbage. Eric Gray garbage. Jalen Hyatt right now garbage. JMS not garbage but below average. Deontay Banks average. Tracy prospect learns how to fumble. Theo Johnson. I love how people are like, or Theo Johnson is that great tight end. 29 receptions, 300 yards. Phillips. We already went through Phillips. Newman. I would rather put Newbin at the safe, take him out of the safety position. I would put him into the linebacker, use a 6'2", 210-pound frame, and you play that quasi Peppers, Logan Ryan role. Malik Neighbors, only good pick. We don't want to go through the free agents. We don't want to go through the cap management. We don't want to go through the players that got away. Joe Schoen is the king of getting shit wrong. But somehow we want to bring him back so he can continuously get shit wrong. I still believe the Giants should have taken, in the later rounds in 2023 draft. I liked him much more than I liked DeVito. The question should be if they take Carson Beck. If they take Carson Beck over those two. Because I still think that Carson Beck is going to be this year's J.J. McCarthy. And I don't mean that in talent. J.J. McCarthy had that meteoric rise up the draft board because of expectation and because of what he could be. Because he had a good combine. He had good personal workouts. And I think that's going to be Carson Beck this year. Carson Beck will be J.J. McCarthy this year. Why do people think Theo Johnson is going to be the next? I have no idea. I didn't see it. I really didn't see it. And I loved when he came out of Penn State. The thing with him in Penn State was that very talented player, but lacks heart and takes a lot of plays off. He's almost got a 50% catch percentage, which means he misses the other 50% of the catches. He's been targeted 43 times, only 29 receptions. I don't know. Let's see here. Andre, medical ward. Thomas, great tackle, but he's injury prone. But don't worry, we signed him. Fire everyone except for Brandon Brown. What's up, Bruce? Good afternoon, Tim. Bruce also, the other Bruce says, I don't know why, but we let all this quality veterans for practice squad talent. Yeah. Yeah. Really? Here's the thing. I mean, you look at you literally had Evan Neal at one point. Not Evan. You had Evan Ingram at one point. Some reason all of a sudden he forgot how to catch the ball. He goes over to Jacksonville and last year has the second most receptions in a single season by a tight end in NFL history. Those were dramatic pauses, also known as thesaurus. What is W.L. Graves says? Everyone seems to forget Tom Brady was taken in the 6th round with 187th pick. It's a crapshoot with the draft. I don't care if we have a top 5 pick. You're 100% right. How many quarterbacks came out that were supposed to be can't miss? Missed. How many times have we seen a Russell Wilson be taken in the 3rd round? Just saying. This organization is going to suck for another 4 to 5 years. No, I agree. And Ron Juan is right. Not everyone's Tom Brady. You're right. Not everyone is Tom Brady. You're 100% right. And if you take a look at the breakdown, if you take a look at the reference to the teams that have won Super Bowls, over, we did this once before, but the problem is the number is skewed because of the fact that Tom Brady has 6, and you also have Patrick Mahomes that has a couple, and that's why it's skewed because of the fact that those guys were 1st round picks. So it's a little difficult to go through. Make sure you hit the like button. Can the Giants just bite the bullet and move Evan Neal to left guard now? I'm sick of watching this guy get cooked so often. You want to laugh? Things that we've laughed about today. If Daniel Jones suits up for 1 game and leaves Minnesota, Minnesota gets a compensatory pick. And we have to decide on the beginning of next year the 5th-year option for both Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal. I know that's not funny, but we have to make decisions on that before the next season starts. So you have to decide, because you got to remember, it'll be year 4 already for these guys. Then we have to decide whether we even want to bring them back. I got a feeling the answer is going to be no on Evan Neal. I think the answer should be no on Kayvon Thibodeau too. Make him work for his deal. Make him work for his deal because he's looked horrid since he's come back. Don't forget to hit the like button, because if you don't hit the like button, we don't get likes. I'm not 100% sure how that's so difficult. You don't hit the like button, we don't get likes. Oh my gosh. I'm hungry. Who's hungry? Who wants to go to lunch? Oh my God. I want to go to lunch. Who wants to go to lunch? Anyone want to go to lunch with me? I'm going to lunch. Besides, I'm hungry. I forgot I had a bowl of cereal. I forgot I'm hungry. So I think we're going to wrap it up a little early. I was going to go till 1, but you know what? I got some stuff to do. Will there be a video out soon? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what goes on. Let's see what my mindset is. I've actually been decorating for the holidays. So there's got a lot of that going on in the house today. So I want to thank everyone. It's dinner time here. All right, well, Lodge is going to go to dinner with me. It's time to, guys. You know what we said before. We said it once again. We're going to wrap this up. This is New York Giants Trade Talk. Power Bell, like Blue LLC. I want to thank everyone who came in to hang out. And as always, remember to like, subscribe, all that shit. Because I'm out of here, folks. See you soon. Peace.